देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनम् देवकी परमानन्दम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. All right, so welcome back. We have started that now from the verse by verse. Okay, we'll be trying to understand this, but before that, yeah, for the past 2 weeks, we made a humble attempt at understanding the prelude and importance of the Bhagavad Gita. Starting today, we'll try to understand each verse. Those who are with me since 20 years, they know it's a second cycle, okay? Understand each verse. Yes, I mean, we all know that it's divided in 18 chapter and 700 verses. When we start this, we need to know, we need to understand that many saints, philosophers, and enlightened men have given their views and understanding on this holy scripture, Bhagavad Gita. Now, in comparison to all these great souls, I am a mere drop in the ocean. I must even not even know a drop. Not even a drop. It's beyond my capability and knowledge to give any commentary on the Gita. But yes, due to my love for Gita, because I consider Bhagavad Gita as our mother, we are trying to understand it as best as we can. In our journey of studying the Bhagavad Gita, whatever I say to you is not my own. Those, as I told you earlier, with me since 2 decades, they know, but still, it's my humble duty to say that it's not my own. Whatever I have read, I have heard, I have studied, is what I will try to simplify. I've been influenced and surrounded by many great knowledgeable individuals. Hence, whatever I understand and explain is directly or indirectly what they have taught. I do like to express my deepest gratitude to all these before starting our journey, our new journey, or our second journey. First and foremost, my guru, Pandurang Sastri Atholiji, the founder of Swadhyay Parivar, whose discourse I constantly listen to. I have been associated with this Swadhyay Parivar for nearly 40 years. Secondly, my dad, my ideal. Let me tell you, on my wedding anniversary a few years back, he gifted my daddy, he gifted me a book on Gita, and the name of book, the commentary is Sadhak Sanjeevani, written by Swami Ram Sukhadas ji. It's said about Swami Ram Sukhadas ji is Gita incarnate. Swami Ram Sukhadas is Gita himself. And the truth is, since I started Gita class, my main reference book has remained Sadhak Sanjeevani. And yes, and will remain so. Dr. Gunwan Shah, a prolific Gujarati writer and philosopher, who has also an immense impact on my thoughts and my life. Last, but certainly not the least, Bhupendrabhai Pandya, whose discourses on the Gita have also guided me. I am eternally grateful to all them. Okay. So nothing is belong to Jaidev Bhai. Okay. Right. Now those who have kept, in fact, not those who have, we must, since we are attending the Gita class, we must have the book of Gita with us all the time. And as you know, that we'll be starting verse by verse. Today, the first chapter and the first verse. Okay. Uh, what I will do that, if I allow all of you to unmute the mic, it will be a chaos. And the whole Gita is all about the cosmos, not the chaos. So we don't want that. So what we'll do that, I'll I'll read that twice and I will break the stanza in two, right? It's so at least it will give you the correct pronunciation. Dhritarashtra uvacha. Dhritarashtra uvacha. Dharmakshetre kurukshetre समवेतायुयुत्सवः धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेतायुयुत्सवः मामकाः पाण्डवाश्चैव किम कुर्वत सञ्जय मामका पाण्डवाश्चैव किम कुर्वत सञ्जय. धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेतायुयुत्सवः मामका पाण्डवाश्चैव किम kurvata sanjaya. Right now, the literal translation for this verse. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjay, assemble at the holy field of Kurukshetra, eager to fight. What did my sons and the sons of Pandu do? I repeat, Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjay, assembled at the holy field of Kurukshetra, eager to fight, what did my sons and sons of Pandu do? So that's the question. In fact, the saint, the wise man, has even discarded this question. So, I mean, the question should not arise. What did they do? They were there for the fight. They were assembled for the war. They were not there to discuss about the chaparral or the prices are going up for the petrol. No, they were there to fight. But the question was there. That means there is some meaning behind it that we will try to understand. Now, what it says, Dharma Kshetre Kuru Kshetre. Now, as I told you, not last of last week, Kurukshetra is a place, is a city nowadays in the northern India, and it's a province called Haryana. It falls under that province, Haryana. It's about 240 kilometers from Delhi. So in Kurukshetra, the celestials perform holy sacrifice. King Kuru, now this Kaurav, Pandav, they are the children of that dynasty or the lineage. So the King Kuru also performed penance there. Where? In the Kurukshetra. Thus, being saturated with a spiritual atmosphere, the field of Kurukshetra has been called the field of righteousness, and righteousness is Dharma Kshetre, the field of righteousness. Now, here, by the word Kshetra, in Dharma Kshetra and Kurukshetra, Dhritarashtra means to say that this is the land of the Kuru, the dynasty. This is not merely a battlefield, but a land of pilgrimage too, in which human beings, by performing holy actions, can attain benediction in this life. Therefore, by consulting noble persons, this land has been chosen for both mundane and ultramundane benefits. Now think that Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre. On the light note and even on the serious note, if we see that, if we try to read between the lines, in those days, even in war, the righteousness, the dharma was expected. And today, there is a war in the dharma, in the righteousness. See the change. I mean, when we read it, it looks fine. But as I told you, try to read between the lines. In this now, in this world, generally, there are three root causes of disputes. Three. Okay. In general. Number one is land. Number two is wealth, and number three, woman. It, it was true in those days. It is true nowadays, and I'm sure it will be true in future also. The root causes of any dispute. Right now, out of these three, the kings primarily fight for land. Hence, there is the significance of the name Kurukshetra. In the Kuru family, the sons of Dhritarashtra as well as those of Pandu. Remember that Pandav and Kaurav. Kauravas are the sons of Dhritarashtra, who is blind. Pandavas are the sons of King Pandu. Pandavas were 5, Kauravas were 100. So, here when we're talking about Kuru, both are included, Pandav and Kaurav. Therefore, both them have an equal claim over the land of Kuru. But now what happened? The Kauravas, we were discussing that last time, the Kauravas, mainly Duryodhana, refused to give the Pandav their share of land. So, no, they won't. So, war between them become inevitable. There was no other way. They are going to fight. Though the word Kurukshetra is fair and justified because the land belongs to both the cousins group, not only Pandava, not only Kaurav, for both. Yet, Indian culture is so unique that righteousness is given top priority in it. Are you with me? That's why I told you. In those days, even the righteousness was expected even in war. Friends, that's our heritage. That's our heritage. So, therefore, even an action such as war is performed on the field of righteousness, a land of pilgrimage, so that the warriors may attain salvation. Therefore, the word Dharmakshetra has been used along with Kurukshetra. So it's slowly, I mean, it's a long journey and we will get there one day. There is one more point which I would like to draw your attention. So, as we have read or you have heard in the first verse of the first chapter, Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre, the first word is Dharma. And in the last chapter, last words, last word. Okay, let me tell you what is the last verse of the last chapter. Yatra Yogeshwarah Krishno. If you have a book, you can open quick. And nowadays you can quickly Google search. What is the last verse of Bhagavad Gita? Yatra Yogeshwarah Krishno. Yatra Partho Dhanurdharah. Tatra Srir Vijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. So, first Dharma and last Mama. Okay, just try to minimize that also. The first is Dhar and last is Ma. The word becomes dharma. First is dhar and last is ma, dharma. So the whole of the Gita comes within dharma, means righteousness. Meaning, by following the path of righteousness, the principles of the Bhagavad Gita are followed. And by discharging one's duty according to the teaching of Bhagavad Gita, the path of righteousness is followed. So, then those who are with me always know that this Bhagavad Gita, normally what happened? If somebody pass away in the family, and then we recite the Gita, and then we distribute the Gita. It's okay. But if this Gita is not going to help me in this life, then what's the point? So the whole Bhagavad Gita is for this life now, in this life. From these words, Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, all of us should know that all actions should be performed by following the path of Dharma, the path of righteousness. Every action should be performed not with a selfish motive, but for the welfare of all. And the scriptures should be the authority. Scriptures should be the authority in determining what ought to be done and what ought not to be done. I have quoted this so many times. Chapter 16, verse 24. Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Karya Vyavastitau. Let the scripture decide what ought to be done, what ought not to be done. That's the Gita, my dear friends. That's the Gita. So, Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre. Now, Samaveta Yuyutsavaha. Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre. Samaveta Yuyutsavaha. As we have discussed earlier, Duryodhan did not accept the peace negotiation despite repeated proposals from many kings in those days. Nay, when even Bhagwan Krishna came to intervene, and Krishna Bhagwan went there as a mediator. Duryodhan very rudely refused to part with even as much land as could be covered by the point of a needle without waging a war. It says in Mahabharata. He was not prepared. I mean, what he says? As much land as could be covered by the point of a needle. Think. Thus, Pandav had absolutely no alternative. They have to fight, except to fight. Thus, the two groups assembled to fight for their rights. They were there to fight for the rights. Though the two groups assembled to fight, Yet Duryodhana had a keener desire for war. In order to usher up the kingdom by fair means or foul, just means or unjust, by hook or crook. Thus, his side was very keen to wage a war. So, in other way, it was Duryodhan who was very keen. Pandav, they had no choice. The Pandav had the virtue of righteousness on their side. For the sake of justice, they were prepared to face any hardship, knowing the deadly consequences of war. Even Yudhishthir did not want to indulge in it, but as by obeying their mother, the five Pandav brothers, they prepare. And these five Pandav brothers, they married to Draupadi. I'm not here to tell the story of Mahabharata, so I'm not going that because we need to stick to that. So Yudhishthir, by obeying his mother, became willing to fight. Thus Duryodhan and the members of his group were eager to fight for usurping the kingdom, while Pandav were compelled to fight for righteousness. You just need to understand that why the war was taking place. Okay? Dharmakshetre, Kurukshetre, Samaveta Now what next? Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Pandav regarded Dhritarashtra being the elder brother of their father as their father and obeyed his order. So for the Pandav, Dhritarashtra, they considered, they respected Dhritarashtra as their father. Doesn't matter whether he is direct or not, or crooked. Therefore, here the word mamakaha. Look, this word mamaka is most important. Here the word mamaka includes both Kaurav and Pandav. I mean, not it's supposed to be included both. But what happened? Pandava has mentioned separately by Dhritarashtra. Mamaka Pandava. Because Dhritarashtra was not fair and just to the Pandavas. He was not fair. He had, in fact, in fact, he was biased. He had partiality. He was not impartial. He was partial for his sons. So the word mamakaha, word mamakaha has been used for his sons, while Pandava has been used for the secondly. When Bhagavan Krishna, on behalf of Pandava, went to Hastinapur with a proposal of compromise or something like that, Duryodhan, Dhritarashtra, Karna, Sakuni even wanted to arrest Bhagavan Krishna. Now, hearing this incident, Kunti, the mother of Pandav, thought that those villain means all that Dhritarashtra's sons, those villain should be killed. Otherwise, they're increasing sins. They're not going to do anything else in this world. It was because of these two factors. Kunti ordered her son Pandava to fight. Now, this dialogue in between dialogue, I'm just give you the quick, okay? When we go to the Mahabharata, it's a dialogue between Vaishampayan Rishi and Janmejai. Between those, Dhritarashtra and Sanjay. And what Sanjay is narrating, the dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. Okay. But I'm not going deep in that. Okay. Sanjay was a knowledgeable person. He was like a sage. Okay. And he was a minister or personal assistant, you can say, to the Dhritarashtra, according to Mahabharata. Kunti, the mother of Pandava, had a unique personality. She was not for the worldly pleasures or the kingdom. She even asked boon to Krishna. Vipadah santu shashvatah. She asked grant to boon what? Of adversity. Dukh. The two things, those were pinching her all the time. The first, that villains such as Duryodhan, Shakuni, etc., Dushasan. Now, the villain, what did they do? They wanted to make her beloved daughter-in-law Draupadi naked in the assembly. This insulting, hateful, and inhuman behavior pained her very much. Okay. So, that's why she says, now there is no other way. Mamaka, come back to Mamaka Pandavas. The sons of Pandu. And Mamaka means my children. All the Kaurav, all the 100 brothers. As I told you earlier, Dhritarashtra had a partial outlook because he thought that the Duryodhan, only about Duryodhan and Duryodhan, were his sons. Yudhishthir supposed to be considered as his sons, but no, he considers Yudhishthir as Pandu's sons. Mamaka Pandavaschaiva. My, my and mine. So he never checked Duryodhan from committing evil deeds. If we go to the Mahabharata, evil deeds like poisoning Bhima, throwing him in the deep water, trying to burn the Pandava alive in the house, gambling with Yudhishthir by foul means, sending an army to the forest to destroy all the Pandava. So his feelings find expressions in his speech. There's a very good proverb in Gujarati. Haye tevu hote. Hayu means heart. Hot means whatever you think is going to come out. That you're going to utter. So his feelings find expression in his speech. It was because of his partial attitude that he had to suffer the torture of the destruction of his family. Therefore, every human being should learn a lesson that he should not be partial to members of his house, street, village, province, country. The partiality leads to conflict rather than love or the goodwill. That's a small thing. We need to take that approach also. What we're going to learn. And doesn't matter how long it's going to take. It's fine. It's fine. If it takes more, so be it. It's okay. That's the lesson. Every human being should learn a lesson that he should not be partial to members of his house, his family, street, village, provision. Truth is truth. Now, what it says, Mamaka Pandavas Chaiva Cha Eva. The term Eva with the term Pandava has been used to point out the fact that the Pandavas should not wage war because they were righteous to the core, but they also came to the battlefield to wage war. So what did they do there? Sure, evil. But that's why, I mean, look, that's all that what was going in Dhritarashtra's mind that had come out. Kim kurvata Sanjaya Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kim kurvata Sanjaya. They were there to fight. But let me tell you another thing. Back of his mind, he was thinking, if the war does not take place, or the Pandava withdraw themselves, because back of his mind, he knew that Mamaka, my children are not going to win. Instead, they're going to lose. This Mamaka word, we will see. Sanjay will explain. And next verses. So, seeing the army of the Pandava, his son, because Sanjay is going to explain that. That his son Duryodhan, what he did in the next verses. We're not starting the next verses. I'm just giving you a little bit. the Duryodhan told his master, his guru, Dronacharya, what he starts, how he starts, the names of chief generals of the Pandava army. Why? In order to create the hatred in his mind. Whose mind? Dronacharya's mind. Against who? Against Pandava. And then after, Duryodhana starts naming the principal, the main warriors of his army. Praise their skill in war. In order to please and cheer up Duryodhana, what Bhishma did? Bhishma blew his conch loudly. hearing the sound of conch, I mean, for a while, they were disturbed. They were disturbed. Sanjay even explained furthermore the word Pandava, as was asked by Dhritarashtra. He says, Krishna, the supporter of Pandava, seated in the chariot, because he was narrating what is happening on the battlefield. And as I told you, Dhritarashtra was blind. So he told that supporter, Krishna, seated in the chariot, blew his conch. After him, who? Arjun, then the Bhim, then the Yudhishthir, then the Nakul, then the Sahadev, etc. Also they blew their conch. The terrible sound of those conches rent the hearts of the army of Duryodhana. After that, Sanjay, while talking about Pandava, starts the dialogue between Krishna and Pandava, and between Krishna and Arjuna. So, the incident of the war, look, Kima Kurvata Sanjaya, okay? Dharmakshetre, Kurukshetre, Samaveta Yuyutsavaha, Mamaka Pandavaschaiva. What is the last phrase? Kima Kurvata Sanjaya. What did they do? Now, Kima Kurvata has three meanings: doubt, reproach, blame, and question. Doubt, blame, and question. Now, war, there is no doubt. There was doubtless because they assembled there for the war. Second, there cannot be reproach, there cannot be blame because Dhritarashtra did not blame his sons and Pandava for the war when the war was already going or about to start. So there is the blame. Blame doesn't stand here. Therefore, Kima Kurvata means a question. Kim, what did they do? Dhritarashtra, it's a Dhritarashtra's question. Sanjay, to relate him all the incidents in detail and in sequence so that he may understand them properly. Okay. So, Dharmakshetre, Kurukshetre, Samaveta Yuyutsavaha, Mamaka Pandavaschaiva, Kima Kurvata Sanjaya. My dear friends, my dear members of Gita class, I would like to conclude this first verse today. Okay. As we always say that absolutely nothing belongs to me, that all credit goes to all the saints, all the preacher, the teacher of the Bhagavad Gita. We will be reciting the 73rd verse of 18th chapter. Those who have joined new must keep remember that towards the end, we always read the 73rd verse of chapter 18. And then you'll get used to it. You'll get used to it. Okay? And then I'll request Sumitra Ben to lead us for the Aarti. Okay? Nashto moha srudirlabdha tat prasadan mayachyuta sthitosmi gata sandeha करिष्ये वचनं तव।
ॐ जय भगवद्गीते जय
जय भगवद्गीते हरिय कमलविहारिणि हरिय कमलविहारिणि सुन्दर सुपुनीते। ॐ जय
जय
भगवद्गीते
भगवद्गीते कर्मसु प्रकाशिनी
कामासक्तिहरा
तत्त्वज्ञान
तत्त्वज्ञानविकाशिनि तत्त्वज्ञानविकाशिनि विद्या ब्रह्म परा। ॐ जय
जय भगवद्गीते चलभक्तिविदारिणि तिरमलमलहारी शरणरहस्यप्रदायिनि शरणरहस्यप्रदायिनि सबविधि सुखकारी। ॐ जय भगवद्गीते रागद्वेषविदारिणि कारिणि मोद सदा भवभयकारिणि तारिणि भवभयकारिणि तारिणि परमानन्दप्रदा। ॐ जय भगवद्गीते आसुरभावविनाशिनि नाशिनि तमरजनी